Tiger Woods wasn't supposed to say no. In the world of golf, some things are debated, some things are earned, and some things are simply inevitable. And this felt inevitable. The next Ryder Cup captain for Team USA wasn't supposed to be a mystery or a conversation. It was supposed to be a coronation. Because when you talk about leadership in modern golf, you are really talking about one name. Tiger Woods wasn't just part of the game, he was the gravitational force that shaped it. And the Ryder Cup, that was supposed to be his final command. Because legends don't ask for roles like this, they inherit them. For decades, Woods had already lived every chapter of greatness the sport could offer. 15 major championships, generational dominance, the kind of aura that didn't just intimidate opponents, it redefined them. He wasn't just a player on Team USA in the Ryder Cup, he was the identity of it. The fire, the edge, the standard. And as his playing career slowed, there was only one logical evolution left. Not competitor, but commander. Not chasing history, but shaping it. Because when a king steps off the battlefield, he doesn't disappear, he takes the throne. Inside PGA circles, this wasn't speculation, it was scheduling. Insiders didn't ask if Woods would be captain, they asked when it would be announced. Media outlets framed it as a matter of timing, not decision. Fans spoke about it like it had already happened. The idea of anyone else leading Team USA felt temporary, like a placeholder keeping the seat warm. Woods represented something no stat sheet could measure: authority, presence, control, the kind of leadership that doesn't need to be explained. It's felt the moment he walks into the room. Because some leaders are chosen, and some are simply expected. This wasn't a possibility, it was a formality. The final step in a career that had already rewritten the limits of the sport. The Ryder Cup captaincy wasn't just another role. It was the perfect ending, a full circle moment. The legend who once carried the team now guiding the next generation through the same fire he once dominated. Everything lined up too perfectly for it to go any other way. The story made too much sense. The future felt too clear. And that's exactly why no one was ready for what came next. Then everything changed. Not gradually, not quietly, instantly. The kind of shift that doesn't ripple through a sport. It fractures it. One moment, the future of Team USA felt locked in, predictable, almost scripted, and the next, it was gone. The announcement didn't arrive with buildup or warning. It landed like a crack of thunder in a sky that had been completely clear. Tiger Woods was not going to be the next Ryder Cup captain. Just like that, the inevitability vanished. Because sometimes the most shocking moments aren't the ones you see coming. They're the ones you thought were impossible. The confirmation came quickly, and from the sources that don't speculate, they verify. Reuters reported that Woods had officially declined the role. Shortly after, Associated Press reinforced it. No ambiguity, no loopholes. This wasn't a delay, it wasn't negotiation, it was a decision. Final, controlled, deliberate. The position that had been waiting for him was now empty. And for the first time, the question wasn't, when will Tiger take over? It was something far more unsettling. Why didn't he want it? Inside PGA circles, the reaction was immediate and uneasy. Executives, analysts, former players, all searching for context that didn't immediately exist. This wasn't how the story was supposed to go. Not for him, not for this role. There was no precedent for something like this because there was no precedent for someone like Woods turning it down. Confusion spread faster than answers. Conversations shifted from certainty to speculation in a matter of hours. Because when the most predictable move in golf disappears, everything else becomes uncertain. And then the deeper layer began to surface. A BC News reported that Woods was prioritizing treatment and recovery, stepping away not just from the captaincy, but from the weight surrounding it. Golf Monthly confirmed the internal response: respect, understanding, and quiet concern. This wasn't about timing. This was about something bigger, something personal. The narrative had shifted completely. From legacy to reality. And suddenly, the story wasn't about what Tiger would do next, but what he was walking away from. This is where the story changes, because this was never really about strategy. It wasn't about timing or leadership cycles or who might replace him. This was about something far more uncomfortable to admit: survival. For years, Tiger Woods has been presented as something close to indestructible, a figure who bends pain, pressure, and expectation into performance. But beneath that image is a body that has been through more than most careers could withstand. Surgeries, comebacks, setbacks, each return more improbable than the last. And eventually, even the strongest narratives begin to collide with reality, because at some point the body stops negotiating and starts deciding. The physical toll is only part of the story. According to Associated Press and further amplified by New York Post, the recent period surrounding Woods hasn't just been defined by golf. It's been marked by personal challenges and off-course strain. Moments that don't show up on a leaderboard, but weigh just as heavily. The kind of pressure that doesn't come from competition, but from everything around it. And when those layers begin to stack, injury, expectation, scrutiny, the game itself becomes something different. Not an escape, but another demand. Because sometimes the hardest battles aren't played in front of crowds, they're fought far away from them. And that's where the real conflict lives. Not between Woods and his competitors, but between who he has always been and what he can realistically continue to carry. The expectation was clear: lead the team, complete the legacy, take the final step. But expectation doesn't erase limitation. It amplifies it. Every decision becomes heavier when the world assumes it already knows the outcome. Stepping away from the Ryder Cup captaincy wasn't just declining a role, it was confronting a truth that even he has limits, that even he has to choose, because the hardest decision for a legend isn't winning, it's knowing when not to play. That perspective isn't just local, it's global. El País framed the decision clearly: a prioritization of mental and physical health over expectation and legacy. And in that framing, the narrative shifts completely. This is no longer about what Woods is giving up, it's about what he's protecting: his body, his clarity, himself. For the first time in a long time, the focus isn't on what he owes the game, but what he owes his own future. Because even the greatest careers eventually face a moment where legacy stops mattering and life takes its place. And just like that, the focus shifts away from Tiger Woods and onto everything he leaves behind. Because when Tiger Woods steps away, he doesn't just remove himself from a role, he removes the center of gravity. Team USA wasn't preparing for a transition, they were preparing for a continuation. Now that continuity is gone. The roadmap that once felt clear is suddenly full of gaps. The Ryder Cup isn't just approaching, it's approaching without its expected leader. And in a competition defined by unity and direction, that absence echoes louder than any announcement. Because when the leader disappears, the questions don't wait. The first question is the simplest and the most complicated: who steps in? According to Golf Monthly, speculation has already begun, with multiple names circulating through PGA discussions. Experienced veterans, former captains, proven figures within the system, but none of them carry the same weight. None of them shift the energy of a room just by entering it, because this was never just about filling a position, it was about replacing a presence. And that's where the equation breaks down, because you can replace a role, but you can't replicate an aura. Inside the golf world, the language has started to change. Analysts aren't talking about succession, they're talking about instability. Some have already described it as a leadership vacuum, a phrase that says everything without needing explanation. The ripple effect is immediate. Preparation becomes uncertainty. Strategy becomes reaction. Players who expected clarity now face ambiguity. And in a team event where confidence is currency, even small doubts can grow into something much bigger. Because in elite competition, hesitation spreads faster than confidence. And while Team USA recalibrates, the rest of the world is watching closely. Opponents don't need to say anything. They just need to observe. A team without its expected leader is a team searching for identity. And in a format as psychological as the Ryder Cup, that matters. Momentum doesn't just come from performance, it comes from belief. Right now, that belief is being tested, because this was never just about Tiger Woods, it was about everything that came with him. And this is where the story stops being about shock and starts becoming about meaning. Because what looked like a sudden withdrawal, what felt like a disruption to the natural order of golf, begins to reveal something else entirely. This isn't collapse, it isn't retreat, it's transformation. Tiger Woods walking away from the Ryder Cup captaincy isn't the end of his influence, it's a redefinition of it. For decades, strength in his world meant pushing through, playing hurt, showing up no matter the cost. But this decision challenges that definition at its core, because sometimes the strongest move is the one that looks like stepping back. For most of his career, Woods carried more than just his own expectations. He carried the weight of a sport, the pressure of history, and the responsibility of being the standard everyone else chased. Leading Team USA as Ryder Cup captain would have been the perfect continuation of that role, the final evolution of a career built on control, dominance, and command. But instead of extending that narrative, he chose to interrupt it, not to lead others into battle, but to step away from it entirely. Because not every legacy is completed by adding more, some are defined by knowing when to stop. What makes this moment different is not what he declined, it's what he prioritized. According to global perspectives like El País, the decision reflects a shift toward mental clarity and physical preservation. Etos. Choice that places the individual above the institution. For the first time, the focus isn't on what Woods represents to golf, but on what he needs for himself. And that changes everything. It reframes the narrative from expectation to autonomy, from obligation to control. Because true power isn't always about leading the world, it's about reclaiming your place within it. The golf world may see shock, it may see absence, it may even see uncertainty. But beneath all of that, there is something far more significant unfolding. A legend choosing himself over the story that was written for him. A career that was built on defying limits, now redefining them one last time. Tiger Woods was supposed to lead Team USA into the future. Instead, he chose to step away and redefine what strength actually looks like.